Quatermass and the Pit is rightly lauded as one of the best pieces of television drama the BBC has ever made. Naturally, when BBC Video started to release programmes on VHS in the 1980s, this serial was chosen to be released. As with most BBC Video releases, the 6 episodes of Quatermass and the Pit were edited into an omnibus version under the supervision of writer Nigel Neal. The original broadcast version of Quatermass runs for 3 hours and 24 minutes, while the VHS version is 2 hours and 58 minutes. Now, on the surface, this seems like a lot to be cut out. But if we discount the opening titles, the reprises and the closing credits, are these cuts as drastic as they seem? Let's take a whistle-stop tour through the cut footage, though just to manage your expectations, there's likely to be some that I've missed, and due to YouTube, I can't present all the footage in full. Episode 1, The Half Men. The first set of cuts removes a selection of shots from the opening building site sequence. We also lose a small bit of dialogue.
You reckon he's been murdered or something?
No, it's all, you know, fossilised, like stone.
Next, we have 2 small trims to the start of Roney's press conference. Later, the start of the scene in the club has 2 cuts, removing some of the filler material from the original broadcast, which was to allow actor Cecil Linder to cross the set in time to start the next scene. The most substantial cut to episode 1 is approximately 75 seconds long, with shots of sightseers coming along to the dig and being interviewed for the radio, which sadly means we lose the excellent Teddy Boy scene.
I don't know. It's all right if they want it.
Now, let's consider this draft.
The end of the War Office scene is removed, and then we lose this small piece of dialogue from within the pit.
They'd have had a good laugh.
Oh, dear, dear. Now they think we found something.
Hello, is that the police? I want to report what may be an unexploded bomb.
As we start to wrap up the first episode, various shots of activity in the pit have been cut right back.
Somebody's still living in that house.
I don't know, sir.
Carry on. I'll see to it.
And we also lose Roney introducing Quatermass to Barbara.
Yeah. Had any luck?
This is my chief assistant, Miss Judd. Professor Quatermass.
How'd you do?
Episode 2, The Ghosts. From the early part of this episode, we lose the short scene of the Chilcotts leaving their home, as well as a variety of short sections in the deepened pit. This includes use of the Geiger counter and Potter collecting a mud sample. The next 2 cuts remove scenes of the bomb disposal team leaving the site and Quatermass alone with his thoughts, while the policeman watches from the shadows. From much later in the episode, a couple of short scenes in the pit have been trimmed out.
All right, lads, we'll get the pump.
I was sworn there was another scalpel. I see they've cleared it.
Episode 3, Imps and Demons. From the start of this episode, we lose a couple of moments with Private West in the hut.
Well, get him away. He'd better go sick for a few days. I'll write a note to his MO. Oh, and Sergeant.
Yes?
He'd better not talk to the other men.
Very good.
A couple of short moments with the bomb disposal team are cut, as well as a short section outside the pit from later in the episode.
he's doing, Sarge? He doesn't. None of them do this time.
Later, there is a cut in the library scene which removes the entirety of the elderly librarian's dialogue. Shortly after this, a small trim removes a minor line stumble by Cease Linder.
Well, we should get some earlier evidence.
Episode 4, The Enchanted. After the intermission, we lose a short shot of the exterior of the hull, as well as footage of Roney's team arriving and later departing the pit. We also lose the start of the subsequent scene in the news editor's office.
Jacko, be tough about it. Middle pages too, you've got to get these pictures in, all of them.
Now take it easy, James.
The next 3 edits remove footage of crowds and public gathering at both the museum and the pit.
Have to see about this, sir.
You get your officer up here right away.
I said, did you see any of these insects?
The final edit to episode 4 removes over 90 seconds of footage and is one of the longest single edits made to the story outside of credits and reprises. This removes the crowds finally giving up and leaving the site, and then Sladen's subsequent conversation with the bomb disposal team as they also begin to pack up and leave. Episode 5, The Wild Hunt. The start of this episode loses shots of Barbara being looked after in the pit by Potter and then the sergeant. 2 establishing shots in the church where Sladen has been taken for sanctuary have been shortened, and a later shot of Roney removing the film from the camera has been cut. From the very end of the episode, a short exchange between members of the TV crew is edited. We also lose the final moments of the episode, where the audience, and not the characters, see that the hull is starting to come to life. Episode 6, Hob. The final episode is almost entirely as broadcast, losing only 11 seconds of footage of the news editor reporting on the chaos growing in London.
Hello. Hello, sir. Are you there? It's Jackson, news editor. I'm at the office.
As we have seen, the edits to Quatermass and the Pit for the first video release were very sympathetic to the original. All the plot points are intact, and the story is as compelling and engaging as ever.